with Intention, podcast where we bring you stories from around the globe. Hello, and welcome back to another episode on Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And today I have a beautiful guest with me, Alice Pallum. Welcome. How are you today, dear?
I'm pretty good, thank you, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're very welcome. So glad you're here. So let's get right into it. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from, please.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm Alice Pallum. My company is AMP Business Coaching. That's a website, of course, .com. And I'm currently in Minnesota, in the US.
Oh, wonderful. And how's the weather there today? Is it nice?
It's good. It's about 80.
Okay, not too bad. Very windy today here in Edmonton, and I am in Canada, so so let's jump right into it. I'm so excited to hear about your journeys, what you're doing, and how you're transforming the world. So, after 17 years in corporate America, what inspired you to actually launch AMP Business Coaching and Consulting? And how did you know that it was the right time to step into what you're doing?
Well, it's kind of one of those blessings in disguise. After 17 years in corporate America, worked my way up that corporate ladder. Shortly after 9/11, the company I was with was hit badly after 9/11, and they started laying people off. So at a point where I was also becoming a little disenchanted with where I was working, but was too busy to think about something else, my job was eliminated. So it was that therefore was the right time. And because I had been there for a while, I had a decent severance package, so I could take time to do something versus rush right into something.
Wow. So, so what do you enjoy about what you do right now? Like, can you tell us a little bit more in depth?
Oh, absolutely. So I work with business owners to help them get over roadblocks, keep them on track, get a plan in place, and then accountability is a big piece of what I do. So what I love doing is helping people see that light bulb go on, making those connections for, oh, that's why this hasn't been working. I needed to fix this problem versus the symptom. And I love challenge, so I also like lots of problem solving and working with people in lots of different industries.
Okay.
So I love learning, so I learn lots of stuff.
I love that. So you help entrepreneurs become goal setting masters. What's the biggest mistake people make when setting goals, and how can they fix it?
Well, I think two things. One, they set a goal that is so unattainable that they always feel like they're failing. So the idea is to set a goal. You want to stretch a little bit. I mean, it can't just be a slam dunk, but you want to build a goal that is attainable and have milestones along the way so you can celebrate success, move on to the next thing. The other piece of that is same thing with building the plan. They either don't have a plan to go with achieving that goal, or again, the steps are so big, they never get started. It just becomes that big looming fear factor of it's so big I can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know from Bob Proctor's teachings, is like you gotta set a goal so big that it drives you. But then I know halfway through people kind of don't see the results, and I see many times people discontinue, get discouraged, and things like that. So I love that you're helping, step by step and realizing people, how they can be guided on that journey. So.
Mhm.
Your mid-year magic, goal and time navigation tune-up is such a powerful theme because I was reading a little bit more about you and what you do. Why is the midpoint of the year so crucial for business owners?
It often is kind of that down curve. One, summer's here, so people have sometimes have a different mindset about, oh, summer, vacation. I don't want to, work on my business as much. And it's a good point to judge, are you getting towards that goal you set? Are you actually making the progress? And a good point to recommit to things or change them up a little bit. So if something's just not been working for 6 months, that's probably time to make a shift and see, let's try this instead.
Mm-hmm. So, because many times I hear a lot of videos that's 3 months in after the New Year's, that's when people, mid-March, they start, dropping the goals. And you say mid-year. Why do you give that extra time? Like,
often you have to give something a long enough try to see if it's working. So that's probably why the 6 month check-in is
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing it for 6 months and it's still not working, then there's something we need to change.
Okay, so what would be the top three shifts they can make during that after that 6 months into the next 6 months or so?
Okay, one is definitely time. Are you spending your time in the right way on the right stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And we go through a process where we kind of help evaluate that and get rid of the stuff that's not serving you anymore. You're still spending time on it, but you don't need to. Or
Mm-hmm.
things you can delegate and don't need to be done by you. So that whole looking at where you're spending your time and is it serving you is one of the biggest pieces that we go through. The second is that planning piece. Did you try to start this without a plan? And now you're really seeing that I know I want to get there, but I'm not sure what the steps are now that I've been spinning for 6 months. And then the third thing is to look at the market you're in and are you on the right path based on what's going on in the market around you?
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So you also talk about accountability. So the ninja skills, you call it. I love that. So it's a cornerstone for your work. What does it
Mhm.
mean to be an accountability ninja, and how does that change the way your clients show up in business and life?
Well, it's really helping individuals see that one, accountability is not a bad word. There's such a bad connotation sometimes about accountability is you're going to beat me up and keep me on track, and but it's really about helping you stay on track and getting you towards that goal. And this is one thing I love about the blend I do between consulting and coaching, because coaching really brings in the accountability piece. So you have your plan, but now you need to stay on track. And I have clients that I meet with once a week just to keep them on track. They know that they have to kind of report back in, right? To say,
Yeah.
yep, I got the things that I needed to, and now this was the result. Let's move on to the next thing. Or here's a stumbling block I came across trying to do the stuff I was supposed to do. And they work through that, whether it was a time thing or a focus thing or a better understanding of the steps thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that because I went into coaching as well, and right away I posted on the website, I'm looking for accountability partner because that's what it said to get. So ever since then, I actually have one too. I had two, and then she decided to doing other things, but one stays with me the whole time, and she checks in. It's like, Eva, did you do this? Did you do that? And I was like, I'm working on it. She's like, how come it's not done? In a nice way, of course. So
Yes, yes,
I love that because it's a gentle, she's a coach too. And the thing is, just because we're coaches, we also need coaches. We also need
yes.
somebody to push that next step and the next step. And I believe even as mentors, we need mentors to continue growing because if you're not growing, how are your clients gonna grow, right? So
Oh, absolutely. I do the same thing. I have a couple of different coaches for different things
yeah,
because you, just like other people need a coach, they need that third party perspective. They need an outside view. Therefore, I can't do it for me either. I need that outside perspective.
exactly.
Uh, One thing I wanted to add in as well is I do accountability based on the client. So I do have people that are uh, a nice supportive kind of approach, but I actually have a couple who are no, you need to be harder on me. You need so
Mm-hmm.
I'm harder on them. I kind of cater it to what they need that's going to help them move forward.
Yeah, I had a coach. Well, I switched coaches now to different. Again, it depends what you need coaching. But
Yeah.
my first coach too was like, "Okay, come on, get it done." And I had tears in my eyes at one point. I'm like, "Man, she's hard." But I was like, "That's why I hired her because I needed a kick in the." Because, yeah, if you're friends with somebody, you're gonna like kind of like, I'll do it when I do it. But when you have that coach that's gonna make sure like, Tony Robbins is like, get your things done, you're gonna move
Mhm.
yourself to the next level. You will because your coach will be screaming at you. But that's how growth happens. It doesn't happen in the comfort. It happens sometimes in the moments when, we're not willing, but then we push ourselves. So
Yes.
the
Kind of push out of
transformation
that
has to happen.
yeah, pushing out of the comfort zone. Otherwise, you just sit there.
Yeah,
And different people and their personalities are driven by different things. So I definitely have clients that if I was that hard line approach, that doesn't work for them because that just
yeah,
shuts them down.
yeah,
They
exactly. Of
don't
course.
respond. Like I said, I actually have two right now who specifically when I was talking to them about getting started, they asked for that. So that's what they're getting. and
Yeah.
that is working for them.
Yeah.
I have other clients that a little softer approach is what they need, and then that's helping them move. They need to be heard sometimes. They need to express what they're dealing with, what they're going through. And I often get compliments from my clients because I don't only, it's like you can talk to me about other stuff, not just business, because that also affects how you're doing and what's going on. So I have several. In fact, I was talking to one yesterday. She's like, I know you're not my therapist, but I need to talk about this. And then
Yeah.
we can talk about my business stuff.
Yeah.
And I am very open to that because it gives me the whole picture. So if there's something going on in your personal life that is stressing you out and causing angst and anxiety, that's affecting your ability to work on your business as well.
Mm-hmm.
And people
Exactly.
often, again, just need to be heard and be able to say what's going on and have somebody listen.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Not everybody has, we all have our lives. We go through different things, and not everybody learns the same way or shifts the same,
Yep.
transforms. That's why it's important to know what your clients' needs are, because you can't paint them with the same brush. You just can't. And that's why I love doing podcasts too, because say I'm talking to you and then you're specialized in one area, and then all of a sudden I know a client who might need that, but I don't quite offer that particular area
Mhm.
or expertise, then I know exactly who to refer them to. And if I don't, I know somebody who might. So that's why I love that ripple effect of, connecting with people, spreading, what we know and helping one another. So that's one reason why I love doing podcasts too. Just for that fact that we can all help each other out. We all have special talents, and we have to share them.
Yes, and I love that approach as well. I do a lot of networking. In fact, I was at a meeting this morning, partly for that reason, right? If people come to me with an issue, like for example, restaurants, I do not coach or consult on how to run a restaurant. I can talk about people things, I can talk about pieces of it, but I have somebody that I have met, excuse me, and trust to refer them to if that's what they need. It's like a whole, I don't know if you have heard the phrase co-opetition before, but it's like that whole, we might be competitors because we're in the same industry, but we're working together.
Yes, awesome. Um, so you're also international best-selling author, and you're also a speaker. So can you tell us about your books? How many do you have? I think you have one behind you. Do you care share it with us?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So this is actually the first one that I contributed to, The Fearless Entrepreneurs, Do More, Fear Less. Number one international bestseller and award winning, in fact. So this one was cool.
Awesome.
And
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you. I've also contributed to a second book called The Book I Read. And right now we're working on a third one called The Time Hacker Blueprint.
Awesome.
So
So
oh, go ahead.
go no, no, go ahead, finish up.
Oh, I'm excited to share uh, through those books. I was speaking of fear. I was a little concerned. Well, I was fearful the first time. I didn't know if I wanted to lay my life out because this one is about my stroke recovery. So it was a great learning and growth for me to go through that process.
Okay, so I see you're doing well now. Could you tell us more? What inspired you to write about that? What was the main idea behind it? And how did you finally do it? Like, tell us more.
Uh, okay, so I had a pretty bad stroke. It'll be 13 years on the 27th of this month,
Wow.
and my prognosis was not very good at all. And about a year after that, because I did recover pretty well. I still have some issues, but for the most part, I recovered pretty well. Everybody kept saying, you need to write a book, you need to write a book and share, 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 share. I'm like, no, no, no. I don't want to go through that. But at about what was it, the 6 or 7 year mark, someone else was talking to me about that, introduced me to Linda, who was the one who had put this book together.
Mm-hmm.
And talking to Linda, she helped me kind of see the value of helping other people by sharing what I'd gone through. And there'd been enough time, it was not quite so fresh anymore. And I was
Mm-hmm.
doing better because in the beginning, it was a good couple years before I was doing better. So I wasn't ready to share yet. But
Mm-hmm.
now that more time had passed, I could see. that perspective of it would help other people. And I'm happy to say it has. I've had people call me or have people reach out to me who either had gone through a stroke themselves or who've had a family member who like just had a stroke. Help me understand how to support them. What are they going through? So I love that. I love that that's turned into that.
Yeah. I'm so glad to see you doing well right now. My father, he had a stroke about 8 years ago. And it did put him in a wheelchair. He had a mini one, then he had I think, one that took him, I think, about a year to get better, but then the third one was the one that put him in the wheelchair. Unfortunately, he didn't recover from that one. He actually passed away a couple months ago, after a long struggle. And so it always like it's that thing that you just don't know how to talk to people sometimes once they have a stroke. It was something we had to learn as a family, how to talk to them, how to um like, what was your experience like at the beginning with people? Can you tell us more about that? And like anything you can help share.
Well, interesting question. Thank you. It and I think it kind of varies because part of it is what was a person like before?
Mm-hmm.
Because that kind of helps you again tailor how you would talk to them. But I think one of the pieces is my own experience and others I've talked to, something about your personality does end up changing.
Mm-hmm.
Like people who've known me for years before my stroke, they see some differences, not like huge, horrible, big swings, but they see some of the differences. And people who've just met me, post stroke, they don't have anything to compare it to. So I think when you're speaking with someone who's just had a stroke or recently had a stroke, one is they might be different. And that's okay because you need to support that because it's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Need to acknowledge that they're not going to be 100% maybe ever or for sure right away. So, for example, one of my issues is I have a peripheral vision cut. So, like right now, looking straight ahead, I don't see my hand. I only see it because I'm looking at the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's never coming back. So, I think part of that is also supporting people for things that they've lost that are not going to come back and going through. It's really a grieving process. I've talked to a couple counselors I know over time because I lost a lot of what I enjoyed doing
Mm-hmm.
because of the peripheral vision challenge. So I can't like I don't ride my motorcycle anymore because
Mm-hmm.
you have to be so aware of everybody around
Yeah,
you
exactly.
that was like a risk I probably shouldn't take. But also mundane things like if I'm in a big crowd, I tend to bump into people because I don't see them right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you just have to so understanding that people are going through those kinds of things and being able to support them either through that grieving process of things they had to give up or daily frustrations that are also not going to go away.
Mm-hmm. So, may I ask, what is pushing you through, like maybe even at the beginning when it happened, and maybe within months or even a couple years, what was something that was pushing you forward to not to give up? I'm sure you had different moments, but what was one thing that kept you going?
Well, one was I wanted as much of my life back as I could get. So I live out in the country. I've got 7 acres of space that I enjoy and I love, where there's still to this day, there is no public transportation. So literally one thing that drove me is I don't want to have to move. The second thing was I want to keep doing what I'm doing now, which is coaching and consulting and having my own business and not need to get a job. So my one of my first fears right afterwards was will I be able to think again as well as I was? Because that the problem solving, like all the stuff we just talked about, problem solving, analyzing, figuring stuff out, if my brain wasn't working the way it used to, I might not be able to do that. So the desire to achieve those things and get back to where I was as much as I could was one of the big drivers.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the other big thing is I have a great family. So at the point where, excuse me, at the point where, so quick scenario, stroke, intensive care, hospital, nursing home, because that's where they do all the therapy.
Yes.
And then when I was done with the therapy, that was, well, you can't stay here, but you can't go home because you live by yourself. In step my brother and his wife, who I always loved dearly, but of course continue to because they said, "Well, you're coming home with us. No issue, no question." And I lived with them for 9 months before I could go back home. And so that was a great support piece, right? Because they all the stuff I was just kind of talking about, they were good at that, knowing that I was going through these things. I was that grieving process, the getting back to normal as normal as possible process. One of the stories I love that is in the book actually is my nephew would give me little math problems because
Hmm.
again it's you're redoing that whole thinking process. So I mean literally like 2 plus 2, 5 plus 6. And my sister-in-law asked him what he was doing. He said, "I'm helping Aunt Alice with her brain." So
Oh
having
my
that
God.
kind of support and humor actually because when you're going through that kind of stuff you don't want everything to just be serious because that's no fun, right? You still need to have some fun and and some humor involved in that as much as you can.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. It always like there was a lot of questions we had when it happened. We had to learn, and then I found out, other people has had it too. Some of my close friends had the strokes and stuff like that. So that's why, like I asked, what is your driving force? Like, what propelled you to not give up? Because I see some people do give up. They give up too soon, and then they usually don't recover as much as they could. And things like that. So there's a lot of different things. So thank you so much for sharing that. And you say you shared that story and more in depth in your books?
Yeah, especially the fearless entrepreneur one. That
Mhm.
that chapter is entitled "Even a Stroke Won't Stop Me." So it kind of
So,
goes through that story. And for equal time, my nephew's sister, she would read to me because I read to them always. And one of the lingering issues I have actually is double vision. It's better than it was, but right away it was so bad I would not want to have my eyes open. I mean, because it, so Elizabeth would read to me since I couldn't really read for myself even more. So that was another nice thing. So I think, yeah, so I think the summary of that is the whole having that goal of what do you want to be able to get back to and it being important enough to you to drive you. And then again, having support. I had my family that I just referenced and fantastic friends. Because even when I started uh, being more like myself again, I still wasn't driving because the double vision,
hmm
they wanted to let it correct itself as much as possible. So it's much better, but my glasses do have prisms in them to finish taking care of it. So I
hmm
was not driving for quite a while, and I had lots of friends who volunteered to help, and that was a growth for me as well. Because I'm not the type to ask for help and
hmm
have a hard time accepting it. I mean, maybe I should say I used to because I learned about that. And one of my friends was volunteering to drive me a lot, and I was so not wanting to be, impose on him or be a burden, kind of thing. And one of our mutual friends sat me down and said, "Listen to me.
hmm
Chuck wants to help you. It will help Chuck by letting you help him help you. So just do it." And
hmm
then I did, and then it was okay, if that makes sense. But it was like that whole another, which is another probably key learning for anybody who has a health issue like that is people around you want to help you, and it's okay to let them do that.
Exactly. Absolutely. Well, I'm so glad that you're here with us sharing your story. And you did mention the first book was hard to write, but the second one was much easier.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, kind of,
And of course, you're doing it again.
yes. Well, it's like once you do the first one, everything else is easier, right?
I know. Linda said the same thing to me when because Linda and I, we share the same publisher. Sorry. She said, yeah, once you open the bag of chips, you cannot stop. It's the same with books. I wrote my first one. It was uncomfortable, just like you said before. I had some fear and stuff around it because English is not my first language, but I did it anyhow. And then before I knew it, I was doing a second and the third one, and now I'm on to fourth and fifth as well. So I think we get better and better with everything as long as we
Yes,
don't give up and we keep pushing ourselves, have those accountability partners, family support and things like that. And if we can get family support, there's friends always and the communities we belong to. So I
Yes.
believe now, because I didn't before, that there wasn't enough resources, but there is. We just have to, you know, broaden our horizons a little bit, be open-minded more, and go from there. So thank you so much for sharing that. Really inspiring. So, one other question I have, many business owners at the beginning of their year, they're really excited, they want to meet their goals, but then, they loosen the steam by the mid,
Hmm.
how do you
Hmm.
help them sustain momentum all year long, actually? Because I know you talked about the mid-year goals and resetting.
Hmm.
Is there anything else you help with?
Well, I love that question because in the beginning of the year, you're exactly right. People are like all excited and they're rocking and rolling, and then they get uninspired or they feel like they're not accomplishing enough. So that really is part of it gets back to setting those plan steps at a point to have celebrations of success. So the size that you can achieve them in 2 weeks or a month and say, hey, great, that's one more thing I achieved. Great. Oh, one more thing. Oh, look at this. I'm checking stuff off this plan that are getting done. So building it in a way that creates the opportunity for celebration along the way is definitely a key.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you so much. So, the future of AMP. So, looking ahead, what is your vision for AMP business coaching and consulting? You did mention books already, so we know some books are
Mhm.
coming up. What else is on the horizon?
So books, exactly. Thank you. Continue to build my speaking. So I have opportunities to speak locally, and I've spoken at some international conferences as well because this beauty of virtual has created that. Like I spoke in India, which was very inspiring because it was for a group of women professionals and business owners. Whole different cultural challenge, right? But I was happy to share my experience and help them see some of those opportunities. Never would have been able to do that in the past. This was great because it was like 1 o'clock in the morning trying my computer. So I want to continue to grow that. I really appreciate speaking to groups with and telling some of these stories, like climbing the corporate ladder, the stroke recovery story, to help inspire people that these things are doable. The other thing I'm working on right now is to build online courses so that a lot of what I do in my live workshops can be evergreen so people can see them when they're ready. Because sometimes the class might be offered, but you're not at the point where you're ready to hear this stuff yet, but you were 2 months later.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So many amazing things coming up for you. Um, the name of the podcast is Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. How important do you think it is to set intention first thing in the morning?
Interesting question. I think it's important to set your intention in the way that works for you, which kind of gets back to something I do with time. I'm a night owl. I set my intention when I want to accomplish next day when I go to, at night. So it's already ready to go when I get up in the morning and then review it. People I work with that are true morning people, they start their morning with setting the intention and rocking and rolling. So I like that ability to tailor to what someone's time relationship is. But yes, it's definitely important either the night before or the morning of to set what you want to accomplish that day. Preferably make a couple notes of things you will accomplish because that again gives you focus of what you want to do, gives you that celebration of, oh, look at that. I had 3 things to do. I got them done. And then
Awesome.
move on to your next stuff.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And what's the best way to get in touch with you if people wanted to reach out to you?
One, on my website, there is a free consultation opportunity, so you can schedule something with me. And I love just talking to people to see what's going on and if I can help them or at least give them some advice. The second is, of course, people can reach out to me directly by email or text.
Okay, awesome. So we will post those links in this video, of course. And thank you so much for being on my podcast, Alice. It was such a great honor to have you with us. And I wish you all the very best in the near future. And thank you, everyone, for listening today. And once again, we are here for you. Please reach out to us if you have any questions or just want to talk with us. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.